content of it. So it's always new for us. So with joy, I welcome Reverend Michael.
Wow. Look at all you beautiful beings. How is that? Is that volume good for you? Great. All right. I don't have to hear it. You do. So. So thank you for the nice words, Reverend Louis. What Price Freedom, as he mentioned, is the title of today. And so, you know, with the month of July, this month, our nation celebrates its independence every single year. This is a high time for that remembering. And at this time, we honor the tremendous strength and courage and the sacrifice of so many throughout our nation's history, and even before, those that chose to come here through their courage to establish this land as our nation. It took a lot of courage, a lot of strength, and a few dollars from the Queen of England. And to celebrate our nation, what does it do? We have fireworks, and we have parades, and we have marching bands, and you know, I like it all. I like it all. I'm glued to the celebrations on the television that come from Washington, D.C., and from New York City, and other places in the world that celebrate these types of extreme, strong, powerful transitions into what we have today. Gets me all fired up. Gets me all fired up. And when I hear a patriotic song, I have this swell, this fullness that rises up inside of me. Because they tell of our nation's history. They tell of the struggle. They tell of the courage and the strife and the moving forward. Mine eyes have seen the coming, and the glory of the Lord is a paraphrase. And that is of the good and of the laws that provide us with what's next. In this teaching, we talk of spiritual laws, that when we are more aware of them and consciously access them, took a lot of conscious access. Our life shows up the way we expect it. Not the other ways that most of us, at least myself, I can vouch for the other ways here and there along my path. So what I know is the principles of freedom are powerful and are then carried from generation to generation. Because what we know today has been handed to us. And our principles of spirit are powerful and are carried from generation to generation, aren't they? So what price freedom? What price freedom? What are you willing to sacrifice for your personal freedom? Today we will revisit some of the universal principles that some of you may know and some of you may not know quite as well yet. And those are the principles of freedom which, when understood in this teaching, provide you and I, the individual, real independence. So I have a question for you. I love questions. Are you an independent thinker? Some would say yes. Others, sometimes. Or, it depends. Depends on who I'm with. Do I want to be liked? Do I want to be not abrasive? Do I want to fit in? Or do I think independently? Carry my own thoughts, my own ideas with me. So one who makes their own decisions, not entirely on the law of averages, is an independent thinker. Now we can use those averages to ponder, wonder, get us to a place, but Is that your thinking? Is that your belief? Many were the times I thought I was making my own choices, and then, bam, guess what? I was faced with the reality of, oh my God, I did this, or I behaved that way, because of that belief that I might be more loved. I might be more accepted in the world. And the point of view, this point of view of needing to be accepted, to be loved, is not being an independent thinker. We are all unique, we are all different, and we are all gifted. So I'd like you to say this with me. I am unique.
I am unique.
I am different.
I am different.
And I am gifted.
And I am gifted.
So why do we settle for less than who we are? For less than our full expression? I still do it. I still do it. There are times that I do not let me be seen as authentically. And guess what? I catch myself sooner than later nowadays. And sometimes you have to know and be wise in how you let yourself out, so to speak, in the world. Because there is the point of love that Reverend Louis mentioned this morning. Go with love. Go with love. Each of us have the freedom to have more than enough. Do you believe that? Sometimes. Maybe. When the cool air's on. There's food over here. Yeah, I have enough. Yeah. It's easy, right? So here's how the principle works. It's through our awareness. This freedom principle. It's in consciousness, and it works through us. It's through our awareness in consciousness, through us. It's the creative process of spirit within us. I love that, the creative process. So when we say, oh, my prayers aren't answered like a second later. I've done that. It's a process many times. It might take 2 more minutes. Or it might take the rest of your life. But it's a process. So get in touch with the process. But don't get stuck there. You know, the old saying, yea, though I walk through the valley, don't buy real estate there. Don't get stuck there. Don't have your mortgage so intense emotionally that you stay there. You must move through it. Well, the spiritual principle is called the law of circulation, that I've been talking about. And Dr. Holmes, in the Science of Mind textbooks, he tells us, back of what we call the human body, there must be a divine body. It is not necessary to visualize the spiritual body, but we should sense a spiritual idea. That the flow and circulation of life through it is complete. It is not inhibited. So again, each of us, each individual on this planet, we have abundant freedom to do what? To think our own thoughts. That's the greatest freedom I know, to think my own thoughts. Some places in the world, there's repercussions for speaking up and out. But you know what? The reality is, their thinking is still their thinking. And their concepts are still their concepts. And as long as, no matter what situation we are in, as long as we remain true to that within of ourselves, then no amount of exterior conflict, influence can truly undermine who we are. How many people have we known, or maybe you are one of those people, that have had an adversity or two? An adversity or two. Well, here we are. Here we are. Here they are. Here it is. Here we are. Each of us has had our own particular, from the South, batch of them. A batch of adversities. And it depends on whether we bundle them up and take them with us or do something different with them. But with them comes a shift in our thinking and our behavior. In other words, our consciousness, our mental awareness has been added to. Everything we do in our life, every experience, goes into our individual consciousness. And so here we are, filled with life, going about our daily experiences, and often sharing our fullness with those we meet. Don't we? We come along and here I am. Share our fullness, whatever that fullness is. And I'm knowing it's love from this group. That you share from the place of love. Right? Right. So this sharing to me comes from in this teaching, it tells us, our subconscious mind. Not unconscious, but subconscious mind. And we share with all we meet. Every person we meet, we're sharing ourselves with. And when you share with that person, guess what? If you really connect with that person, you're sharing a part of yourself because they are part of yourself. They get to mirror back what you are. Diana mirrors back what I am. Kalita mirrors back what I am. I'm attracted to people because that's who I am. There's a piece of me that's you, and that's you, and that's you. There's a piece of me within you. And so when I know that, when I see that, that's what I want to add to my consciousness. Raymond Charles Barker in Treat Yourself to Life tells us the subconscious mind is the principal operation of your life. You are at least 90% subconscious. Like that? Not unconscious, subconscious. Everything you do because your subconscious mind does the work. So that's where we act out of and from, is our 90% of what has happened to us. And our subconscious is driving us, propelling us forward. So in other words, we move forth in our daily lives perceiving out there from a viewpoint which is 90% influenced by our history. I'm talking history today. Raymond Charles Barker goes on to say, the important factor in your life is never what you are thinking at the instant. It is the sum total of all that you have ever thought. Consider this. This moment with every single speck of feeling, emotion, reaction, and idea is the result of all that came before. It's our personal history. It's called now. This is the now. And in a second, it'll be a different now. And a different now. And a different now. You see, once anything has been in your experience, it has the ability to stay in your experience to the degree you continue to give it power in your life. The power is in your degree of belief in it and the words spoken around it, around any idea that we attach ourselves to. It doesn't attach itself to us. We've attached to it. Dang it. I can't say, oh, that person did that to me. Oh, no. Oh, no. I said, I'll take some of that or not. And there's a result of that. The words spoken around any idea, combined with a degree of a deeper knowing, either causes it to stay, to say, hey, I'm still here. I'm still here in your life. Or you can dismiss it. I say, vaya con Dios. Go with God. Get out of here. To those who don't want. So both sides of this mental coin are part of our consciousness. The 90% subconscious influenced. What's the other 10%? I'm going to leave that with you. I got to find out too. So, so if all the individual history, yours and my history, our experience and beliefs is stored in consciousness, how can we eliminate the adversities? How can we get rid of those no longer wanteds in our lives, in our thinking? Well, first we must, as Ernest Holmes tells us, transcend the appearance, even though we admit it as a fact. Facts change. Truth does not. And so the fact that something, or someone, or a situation, there's either pain or destruction by the appearance, is just that, an appearance. It's the current experience. If you're in pain, you're in pain. You guys say, I'm not in any pain, because I'm a religious scientist. Well, yeah, you feel the pain. You know, that's a river in Egypt, denial, you know. And you're giving it more power. You're giving that pain more, because you're focusing upon it. You're giving it emotion. So pain, both physical and mental, has the ability to change with proper treatment, medical and spiritual. We admit the fact and then go to truth. We admit the fact and go to truth. It is quite a different thing to admit its necessity, isn't it? The facts. Facts aren't necessary either. Change begins from knowing what is a fact and what is truth. And that's when our shift in consciousness happens. We've all had it. We've all had the aha moments. Every time I say I want whatever it is to change in my life, it's a new starting line in consciousness. On your mark, get set, go. Can you visualize a runner at the starting line? Crouched at the starting line. On your mark, get set, go. So on your mark is, your mind is clear about what the facts have been. Have been. Get set is the new mind idea in consciousness. Conscious ideas. And then go is when you take action.
That's the 10% conscious mind.
Conscious mind. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. So, on your mark, get set, and goal is that you have set yourself free to move through the experience with the power of your mind. What price freedom? The price of freedom is to pray it forward. The price of freedom is to pray it forward. So what is that? Pray it forward. It begins with a spiritual practice. And you can do treatment, meditation, but it's moving away from the facts, focusing on the truth. And knowing so clearly that what you desire, what you want to change, what you want new, has a very strong feeling within you. That there's no doubt in your mind. That's all that matters, your mind. You'll have doubters around you, trust me. You'll have experiences in your life. Could be your bank account, could be anything that will show up as, oh my God, it's not the fact. It's not the fact. So as we begin to understand that our now life is the result of what has happened, and that all of it is stockpiled in consciousness, and we begin to see through all the facts and into what is true. And what is true for all of us is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And as humans, we are here to show God a good time. There's a book in our bookstore from Dr. Pat Campbell, Showing God a Good Time. And she uses her own experiences of life that example and show us how to have a good time in life. And how she stepped through her valley of fears and conditions and created something, many things, new in her life. You know, we are gifts of the indwelling Spirit here on planet Earth to express God's love, God's joy and beauty and light and peace and power and, yes, life. This is our divine birthright. We come in with this. And they are the nature of God, not the government, not another person, not another experience, another belief that we unknowingly might harbor. It's our birthright to life. So, let go of the facts of life, if you will, and let God show up in a magnificent way. Close your eyes for a moment. What is the most magnificent way that you could allow Spirit to show up in your life right now? What would it be? It could be something inside yourself. It could be an emotion. It could be an experience. What would it be? Can you feel it? Are you embracing it? Can you taste it? Okay. How's that? Did you all get something? There's something in that you have a new little seed in consciousness? That's perfect. So, let go of the facts and let God show up as your magnificent life. I did that on my way home from my family gathering in June. I tend to make a list every time I depart before I get home, because there's that going through that valley between family and that fact and or that history and this fact. And so I'm very open and very clear. And so I make a list of what's important. And so the top two contenders for first place: spend more quality time with family and friends, and be spontaneous. And Reverend Louis mentioned Dr. Ken Gordon, our spiritual leader for the World Centers for Spiritual Living, calling out of the blue. Spontaneous, yes. And I went, here's another one. Here's something else I've opened myself for. And it's really, you know, we ask for these things, and then many times we say, oh no, not today. Not today. Not even in my life. And so, we have said yes to many things since June, at the last minute, as I like to call it. But now I call it the divine moment. Because I asked for it, and here it comes. Here it comes. And so, all those experiences that come to us, I call continued spiritual nourishment. You know, as we understand how the process works in consciousness, that it adds more. It adds more to our spiritual history. So, Back in The Power of Decision, Raymond Charles Barker, he writes, check your list of expectations quite often. They indicate just what you will get out of life at the present time. What are you getting? What are you getting? And he goes on, rejoice in your good expectations and expand them. Daydream about them. Give them the food of your creative thinking. Nourish them with anticipation. Watch for all indications that they are bringing results. Love that. And these are the words attributed to Jesus in Mark 16:17. And these signs shall follow them that believe. Independent thinker? All these signs show up when we think for ourselves, out of our spiritual true nature. But we have to believe they're good for us, that they're true for us, not just a fact. Remember the law of circulation I talked of earlier? Have you taken stock in your consciousness of too many facts? Facts change like the world markets change. It's a up and down, up and down. But there's a continuity of it all. And so I urge you to look at the bigger picture through the thin veil of what is appearing in your lives by incorporating a spiritual practice, because that's what will pray you forward into something new. Say vaya con Dios to what no longer serves you. Say it with me. Vaya con Dios.
Dios.
Let go and let go. This is the price of freedom. So, beloveds, all of us, on your marks, get set, and go. So it is.